In this video, we'll look at the process to create a burst, and we'll look at a few different examples, one basic and one a bit more advanced. A burst can contain one or more documents. In this simple example, we'll use this document, Weekly Sales Report. This happens to be a Business Objects Web Intelligence report. And in our first example, we'll do something simple. Let's refresh the report for a few values, publish it in PDF format, and then deliver the results to a SharePoint server. So let's start by selecting New, Burst. We'll give the burst a name. Call this Sales Burst Basic. Select Save. Then select the Items tab where we're prompted to add one or more items, and we'll select our Web Intelligence report. Now we need to make two decisions. How are we going to refresh or burst the report, and then where are we going to send it, meaning the delivery. Let's start with the parameter. This report has a parameter called Enter Values for State, and InfoBurst is displaying the default values, California and Colorado. In this first example, we'll just leave the default values. And we do want to refresh once for each state, which is called a multi-pass. So we'll select the multi-pass checkbox and select Save. So this takes care of the processing of the report or how we're going to refresh it. Now we'll move on to the delivery. We have two options here. We can create and configure a new delivery with the plus symbol, or if we've created a delivery template that we'd like to use, we'd select the gear icon. We're going to start with a manual delivery, so we'll select the plus. We'll give the delivery a name. I'll call this PDF SharePoint. So the delivery is two parts: the destination, where are we going to send the content, and the format, in what format are we going to publish the result. So we're going to select our SharePoint destination. Our target SharePoint server is selected. We'll select a document library. I'm just going to put this in the Documents folder. And then we'll move on to the format, which is PDF. Here we'll make no changes. So the default format is PDF. We'll leave that as is. Select Save. And at this point, we can either run the burst manually or add the burst to a schedule for regular execution. In this next example, we'll burst our Web Intelligence report using values from a data source and then deliver the results to email recipients based on bursting value. Let's start with the data source. I have a database connection created which contains a query that returns my state values, my parameter values, and also the email addresses that I'll use to deliver the content. So here we can see a preview of the query. I'm going to use my state column for my parameter values, and then the email addresses will come from my email column. Let's build the burst. Again, we'll select New Burst. We'll call this Sales Burst Advanced and save. Again, we'll add our document and select. Now this time, with the parameter, instead of using the default static values, I'll select the data source icon, the little page icon, and we'll select our database connection and our state's email query and select OK. We still want to multi-pass, which means refresh once for each state value, so I'll select the multi-pass checkbox and save. Next, we'll add the delivery. We'll call this Excel email. We'll change our destination to email, add our recipient. Now in this case, we're getting email addresses from our database query, our data source, specifically the email column. So we're going to use the email column as the placeholder for our email address. So within our macro builder, we can see our extra column, %email, and we'll simply add that to the field value, and apply. So this is simply a placeholder, and at runtime, InfoBurst will replace the placeholder with the actual email address for each state. And we'll save. We can create a custom file name. So we can come in and say report for state as a simple example, and we'll apply that to the file name. The file name is optional. Switch to format. In this case, we'll select our Excel format and save.